I still remember the night that forever changed my life. It was a moonless night, the trees casting long, eerie shadows on the winding road that cut through the heart of the forest. I had been a cab driver for years, but nothing could have prepared me for the horrors that awaited me that fateful evening. As I drove along the desolate road, my mind was filled with thoughts of the day's fares, the mundane conversations, and the occasional odd passenger. Little did I know, my life was about to take a turn into the realm of nightmares. Out of the darkness, a figure emerged, standing at the roadside. He was tall and thin, his face shrouded in darkness. A chill ran down my spine as he looked directly at me, his eyes gleaming with an ethereal light. A voice inside my head urged me to drive on, to ignore this hitchhiker and continue my journey. But something compelled me to stop, to offer him a ride. Without a word, the man climbed into the back seat of the cab. His presence filled the vehicle with an unsettling aura, and a sense of dread washed over me. I could feel his eyes on me, even as my own remained fixed on the road ahead. His silence was deafening. As we ventured deeper into the forest, the atmosphere grew heavier, suffocating. The air seemed to thicken, and a fog enveloped the road, obscuring my vision. I gripped the steering wheel tightly, my knuckles turning white, as a sense of unease settled in the pit of my stomach. The man in the back seat began to speak, his voice low and menacing. He spoke of unspeakable things, of ancient rituals and forbidden knowledge. His words made no sense, yet they filled me with an overwhelming sense of dread. I desperately wanted to escape this nightmare, to turn the car around and flee, but an invisible force held me captive. Hours passed, but it felt like an eternity. The road seemed to stretch on endlessly, leading us deeper into the heart of darkness. Shadows danced on the trees, whispering secrets I could not comprehend. The man's words grew louder, more insidious, echoing in my mind like a sinister chant. Finally, we reached a clearing, a desolate place where the forest seemed to converge upon itself. The hitchhiker instructed me to stop the car and step out. His gaze penetrated my soul, and I could feel his power, his malevolence. I knew then that I had stumbled into a nightmare from which there would be no escape. As I stepped out of the cab, the air turned frigid, my breath forming icy plumes in the night. The hitchhiker stood before me, his form shifting and contorting, his face twisting into a grotesque mask. He revealed his true nature, a demonic entity that had lured me into its clutches. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. With every ounce of strength left in me, I turned away from the creature, breaking its hold over my mind. I ran, stumbling through the darkness, the echoes of its laughter haunting my every step. I emerged from the forest, gasping for breath, my body trembling with exhaustion and fear. I quit my job as a cab driver the following day, haunted by the memories of that nightmarish encounter. I warn others now to steer clear of the roads that wind through the heart of the forest, for they hold secrets best left undisturbed. The hitchhiker still lingers in my thoughts, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond our perception. To this day, I am plagued by nightmares, tormented by visions of that night. The road to damnation is paved with unsuspecting souls who dare to venture into the unknown. Beware, for the forest holds secrets that should never be unearthed. And should you encounter a hitchhiker on a desolate road, think twice before offering them a ride, for you may find yourself trapped in a nightmare from which there is no escape.